The praise we start Rinpoche lead page 49. Praise for Lama. Oh no, sorry. Page 8. Page 8.
Tataring also Jumde, maybe job, Geno Cheba Chesini, Madawa Chindu, Mone Chelaga Nubo. Cheton the Mele, Geno Delanda, Madame Mambo, Yorela, Tarin Delangone, and maybe Jabiga, Geno Cheba Chesa at the Piade. There's some Naroso, Mone Shadaga, Tending Chebache, Yabo Johnson, Madrid Hundusat. Carre Sena, Chorosu Cheba Jongal. Melek Chodema Tonga Yosarava, Dawa Kangal, Seba Chongal, Mela Chodema Tonga Yosare, Tataring Aroso del Melek Geno, the Seba Chonga Lucuni. Moneton Haleva, Aroso Yina, attended Yaboshun, Chorosina, Moneton, Sel Gavagone, Tatari, and Aroso the Pay Abbot Chonsas. Moneton, Tended Constantly Dina, you cover your. Naroso Sunshita Zapema the Nimal Soko, Zapema the Nimal, Choroso Legalitan, Zapema Nimal Chego, or Teniga, maybe Jabiga Geno, the Choroso Mela Chodama Toyate, Gatu Kiate, Shara Kalecabore. Kalecabore, take the Choroso and Samba Nanda, Moneton Hata Pata Chego, I sang Aroso Mone, Martin Hundu Teshumade, take the Shadaga Yapochumus.
So we're going to have medicine Buddha initiation today. And there are different, among many different kind of medicine Buddha initiations there. This is going to be a special one. It's called a special because it's a special, and so it has, it happened to be a very auspicious day also to give the medicine Buddha initiation, because you normally do the medicine Buddha puja on the 15th of every month, right? And on the according to the lunar calendar. On the full moon day, you do medicine Buddha puja, and today it happened to be 15th the full moon day, and we're having a medicine Buddha initiation. So to coincide at a time like that is very amazing. So it's very auspicious to fall on a day when you are all very free. Usually, you can only make a time on a Saturdays or Sundays to come to the teaching, and this happened to fall on a Sunday also. So it's a very, very special and very auspicious. And so I feel very auspicious from my side, and also you should feel very happy and rejoice that this happened at the same time, and we're all are very fortunate to be able to receive this initiation.
Sherba Chila, Tantano Marosone, Gondoba, Chetonga, Sojo Suare. When it on a hard level, Sojo and the Shadow catch of the Jesum said the Jesum, Sojo, Yaji, Gaya, just and the Jesum, Chitaring out of Cheto Suare. When it on a Choros of Cheso, the Yena, Shadow, Yabon, Dina Conderson. When it on other Sojo, the Sonja tell the Shadow, hard levy Yapore. When it on a Tema said, Naruto, Sojo Sugdela, and it don't watch Chichi Chegor. Don't watch Chichi Chegor, the Soso Jella, Tomato, Niepato, Meba Chegor. Meba Che, that Tati Jugan Naruto Chichi, and Shadow, number Taba Yapochi Yungore. Yungore, Tita, Soto Mini, Tarinde Yapochi Johnson also. And so Sera in a Tiri Sushi and the Sonny Yakele. Peda Tubano, the young Amate Naruto. Peda to big Judule Legare, Jongal, Sushil and the Tere, Tikatu the Kisha, the Tere, Sozo in a Gabochum. Only on the Saragamano Latate, Sushila, the Teni Chunga, Tari Sojo, the Soya Shumate, a Shadaga Yapochum. Chu Chene Carre, the Shangaroso, Tuma Shichi and Yapato, the Kangapa, Meba Chetadilla, and then Garoso Melojagayina, Karichagin, a Pento Chamboyore. Naroso, some days I'm mental about the Teni. Debato so deepen, Narosa some data the young Togo Mare. Roma, Narosa say na Paja, but Choro the Sijan, Narosa Soma, no, she's a young Togo Mare. You Matoya, the Sozo Jel and Yamotus of Dada Conte, a Tiger, deepen young Matore. Tatari Tuma, the Shichi, Teso, and Narosa Monet, Tonega, or the Toma Jocene. Ha lebe Yapochon, Monet on the Gendo Chayore. Geno Tonjo, Tiger, Sojo from the Pemaseba Yapochon, Teita. Naroso Jense Guba Nindi, Choros, Cheso, and the Sojo Atela, Sera Kawasombo Yapore, Kayamare, Choros, Genduba, Mombo, Meta, Sojo to Kokayamare. Roa, Sojo to Kokayama, Taring Aroso, Geshe, to the Cassin and Becusheni, Maseba Yapochu, Tate Sojo to Toya, the Sera Yapochum, or Tedder, Taning it at the Shera, Sojo to the Nipatas of Shichizone. Shichi Chenema Soju to Jomar Kanga, near the Shichi, the Tomato Tane, Peyapochum Yores. Tesonta, Naroso Teniga, and Nipatas of Patasona, and this also Sosa, the Jokari and tell Lolo, the Yapo Yunga, Tida, Namaso Yenayo, Monetonega Jamal, Telice de Langela, Tunsha, the Temina Shishas, and their Tomina, Sheta Yapoyore. Tunsha, then Naroso gets to Geno de Shichi Chasu Somaton, Tunsha de Gore. Tunsha sang it Dipa Shagor, Dipa the Shan, and this also a Gawachi Dugina, a Pemasipa Gawashu Chemo Yungore. Rova, what thing Geshila and Becker, Shandesh, take a decision, a thing on it, and also Petonishibare. Tusha, they told Tusha, Temena Shisha, and Degina, Yaboy, taking Yapato of Patan or the Tat, so Gawaka Chegina, Lola Yuma, the Yapo Yungores.
So we have quite a large number of sanghas here today. Fully ordained monks, and usually on the 15th and on the 30th of that month, the monks in the ceremony in the monastery will attend a confession ceremony. It's called a confession ceremony. There are three kind of ceremonies. The basic ceremonies that they do in the monastery. So one is called confession ceremony, one is called the summer retreat, the beginning of the summer retreat, and then which is the Yane, and then there's another called the Gaya, which is the end of the summer retreat. So these are the three basic ceremonies that they do in the monastery. And the confession ceremony is very important in the monastery. It is done in order to purify all the negativities that is created in regards to the breaking of the vows, not the root vows, but the secondary vows and so forth. And so whatever kind of downfalls that they have created by by breaking those secondary vows, then it is to purify that that negative that downfall and to restore the vow. And so it is very good that we had a great number of sanghas today here, fully ordained monks here, and we had the opportunity to do this confession ceremony here at the Kurukulla center. And so I don't think we have ever done that kind of ceremony here before. Of course, you are not to be blamed because there are not many sanghas coming together at the same time on a day when the confession ceremony happens to take place. So this is very auspicious from that sense also. So I feel very happy that I've been able to be at the time when we do the confession ceremony. And also the other thing is that today, usually on the 15th day of the 6th month, we start the summer retreat, and then goes for a month and a half. So it ends at the end of the 8th month of the Tibetan lunar calendar. And so this is very auspicious. So on the 15th we do the confession ceremony, and the 16th the summer retreat starts for a month and a half during the summertime. And so I'm very fortunate that I feel very fortunate that this happened to be to fall on this time here. And this is very important, like I said, it's because this is to purify the negativities. And so whatever downfalls and whatever negativities that we have created, it is to purify that. And so when we purify those, then whatever we do afterwards, will be very good. So any kind of practice, any kind of studies that we do will become very successful, very good, because then there's nothing to obstruct us. So these we are not able to accomplish what we wish. It's because of all these delusions. Our minds are filled with all these different kind of delusions. So when there are these delusions, they obstruct, and then we cannot, become successful in whatever virtuous action that we try to engage in. And so doing this practice of the confession, is very, very important to be successul or to be able to accomplish any kind of practice that we do. And so I was also suggesting, Geshe, that you guys, when you do the ceremonies here, like the Medicine Buddha Puja on the 15th, of course you don't have that confession ceremony to attend, but you can at least recite the 35 Buddha confession prayer, or you can do the general confession prayer, at least to purify the negative karmas that are going to obstruct us in doing our practices. So once you have purified those negative karmas and the downfalls, then whatever practice you do subsequently will be very successful. And so any kind of practice that we do will become good, and all the virtues that we accumulate will become very successful and very powerful. So I suggest that we do this practice as much as possible.
Te sumsa ta tari ngaro so sepa chonga le noji ina le nyato jesa sene tsawa chembo tsugo yore sepa chonga le ngaro so go ane meno jenong se shoya shoya te yo sheda ga yapo chung yore so so ngene yena yo one to ne ga sasa seji chene one to ne ga ta tari ngade ta ngaro so naba sanje be chu le shune shu ta re naba sanje be chu le shune shu ta naba sanje be chu shizu do ne ma lo ga yena kong ne su de yapo chene lo ga yena ane pendo chembo yung ga yore ba pedo chembo yung yore naba sanje be ga shung de so one to ne kong de so chewa yi so gore kong de yapo chi kaya de so chewa yi so gore de da naba so yena tari chepa chongal one to ne kadi yena na ngaro so lo yo ma ro a kadi yena yo ma de tari chi yo ba de ko chepa chi che ga yi so kong yapo chi kero chis.
So like I said, to have this Medicine Buddha initiation done on the 15th day of the lunar and the lunar calendar is very, very auspicious. And so once of course we are Buddhists who are practicing Buddhism, right? So once we do that, once we start to practice Buddhism, it is important to do it properly. So the proper way of doing is with a proper motivation. If we do with a proper motivation, then it will be very. Motivation is the primary, the main thing, and so it doesn't happen. It doesn't fall on this day, right? All the time. It's very rare to fall on such a day, to have medicine Buddha initiation. And so, since it has fallen on this day, let's all try to make this day very meaningful. And so now with the proper motivation, and by thinking or remembering the kindness of Buddha Shakyamuni for his incredible teaching, let's recite this praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. This is in page 8. Your prayer books. So, praise to the Sixth Mahakala, on page 58.
Pade Chare Bala Chandalo Sange Demani Bezuada, Kejumbo Nibe Dama, Dajabelo Jenang, Jenge Bache Tonje Chewada, Chening Danyanda Zado, Wadoming and Male, Badinda Dala Dado, Kona Demalije, Jebande Jesu.
Takatse Shava Nojire Tangaro Soyan, maybe Jabi Jenang, Chavache Shavala Tane, Ale Lame Tane, Tare Tangalu Garusote, Dashedo Sote Chetare, Tanda Kazaba Gala Tomashi Matere, take Shava Nojiga, and a Tari Garosoyan, Casa Papa Tangi Tanda Garoso, maybe Jabi Jeno Shavala, Gamon Pache. Mombo Yunga or what the Sotane, Lame Choga de Tone Tai Jaji Pater, Teso, so numbers of Temi Patechego, or Name Techego, Yorella, Choroso Temi Pachego, Yore, and the case of Shawan Nojing Aroso, gave a shower temple, she drove a lion, Monatonega, Gamon Pache, Haleva Yunga Yore. Then Aroso make as a Shawan Nojing Aroso, Shinju Chego or Marua, Shinju Chego or Marua, Mato Jeng Aroso, Gamon Pache, Lama Chibotomaso, Sungo Yoreta, and on Shakal Tal Yungsade, Lame Sal Yungsade, Tartan Gamon Pache Kavayo Sene, a tennis Segina, Gamon Pache sang the similar Yungres, Nino Yonsana, Ni Kuala Sobatani, Damana Yungayore, Semishel Yundoyatanido, I Ni Kudayaton. But those Gamon Pache, the Maduche, Casavano, Gamon Pache, Sharon is Sisokule Yungumarawa. Sharon is the Yungumare, Mother Sharon is the Yanaro to call you Kotogumare. Kotogumare Naroso. When they don't Chetan don't look at that, so Gomba General Kaya, you are a Sungu. What is that? So Gamon Pacheta, Gaveshawa, Dabalaxane, Gamon Pache Cariona, Toto Lame, Tachoga de Tone, Taija Paro Teso, so the Mipache, the Kesusheta, the Ranoji is.
So now to start the initiation, like I said yesterday, there are things that has to be done from the side of the Lama. And just like self-generation, the front generation and so forth. And now is the time to offer the Dharma to the obstacles. And so, like I mentioned yesterday, imagine that you have given all these obstacles and cast away all the obstacles across the infinite oceans, so that you will not be obstructed or hindered at all. So a thing like that. So it is very important to imagine that it has been cast away. This is what I think, and this is what you should think also. You should imagine like that. There are many obstacles, and even to do a small virtuous action, there are many obstacles. It's just that you normally analyze about those obstacles, but if we do, then we will see there are a lot of obstacles, even when we try to do a small virtuous action. In order to remove those obstacles so that we can have a smooth and successful practice initiation, and therefore we have to imagine casting away all these obstacles. We might think that I'm here already in a place where the initiation is being given. How come there will be an obstacle there? So obstacle is not from outside; it's inside. So even if you're here, if you get distracted or if you feel sleepy and so forth, then that's the obstacle. So in order to not have any kind of the obstacles like that, then we need to do this ceremony through which we cast away all the obstacles. So if the obstacles, so these are the obstacles from the inside. So if there were obstacles coming from outside, it will be something that we might not even be able to stop. If we were to come from outside. So because it's inside, therefore we can amend it or stop it by thinking in a certain ways.
Geshe Male Maya Jamaka, Chalu Saja, Sunga Rondo, Male de la Chata, Labi, Robert and the Janado Chalan, Yamo de Jetan, the Bad, the Jala Chata, Kabe Madame by Lunjan, Payatona Changa, Nadama, Shedomeke, give us a mandala Chantal. Muche de Meta the Jama, London, the Toate, moving around the Toja gets on the La Chantal, who Jibe Hodanga, Ganomalan, the Get la Shata, Meda, Ganana, Home, Homosoba, Sawadama Soba, get the Masababi, the Jado, Momo, Amagaram Sadama, and the Home, Magaram Sadama, and the Home, Omagaram Sadama, and the Home, Lunga to go on like the General Samashavala, what the Chevas of the Getty under the Kubara. Mosambi again, Mesawata Dangada, Biobisham, Sawate, Gamayinga, the Parana, Himongan, Kongana, the Balata Yaso, Mosambi again, Mesawata Dangada, Biobisham, Sawate, Gamayinga, the Parana, Himongan, and Kongana, the Balata Yaso, Mosambi again, Mesawata Dangada, Biobisham, Sawate, Gamayinga, the Paran, Himongan, and Kongana, the Balata Yaso. Namasambane, Sambongan, again, Bayanga, Hana, Yobanga, Biana, the Hope, Omasambane, Sambongan, again, Bayanga, Hana, Yobanga, Biana, the Hope, Masambane, Sambongan, again, Mana Biana, the Hope, Chango Chebe, Sajalane, Lala Subeke, Sokanete, Nayan, and the Wonga Samoy, Channel Dene, Jenang Roache, Kadena, Kalenda, Shana, Yishi, the Jamba. Savajana Gano Bajawa de Mesa, Namoje, Savado Jibachip, Padelama Tomano, Jacadema, the Soja, Jacadema, the Chicadema, the Gende, Jacadema, the Jabado, the Jet, Rebocha de Bemato, Legit, Jabato, the Nibo, the Chaja, the Somado, the Majalai, Chabato, Chabato, Yocho, the Mebeja, Lato, Chabano, Javadama, the Demachimation, La Palatini, Dojelo, Mamanola. It's a day, maybe Jabi, General Samoja, Shavala, Pato Chebato, Begeti, Tonche, and never don't say somebody about the Japola, Pemba, the Devashan, you settle the Begone. Ronrenos, Ronos, the small shake, Cademadonna, to what is the Tadi gel kamasama den rotare Loma no jigate lesa chavate latene ta chido chado menda so no ta kaza baba menda de keso chaba no jigata jishi jiba shemagawache ane kaza baba menda de latene keso chaba no jiga tanda lama yo thama banda ta ba maye ba chode de mebe jabi kashi yo so me bache ane ne kondo yo chode de mebe jabi ga jishi ji rono litebe menda ya yishi ane ngombo tane chile sono tone latene 나로서 다 가르쳐 가로 다 전에 매매 잡이 제노 시외 예다 타네 롱게 레 롱셰 티선도 사베 게사와 통체 테네 제 매다도 맨노발 메네 아니 이거 리피트네 타네 전에 매매 잡이 제노 시외 예다 매다시 뭐와로 쇼.
And so now we have done making offering, offering of the Dharma to the obstacles, and so. Like I said yesterday, there are things need to be done from the side of the Lama and things to be done from the side of the students, or the disciples. The things to be done from the disciples, like I said, rinsing the mouth, or taking bath, or rinsing the mouth, making prostration, and now it's the time to make mandala offerings. So mandala offering is is offered to request for the initiation, And we don't have to go through all the detailed explanation, as we did already yesterday. And so now, when you make these mandala offerings, and imagine the Lama, not as an ordinary person, but an actual medicine Buddha himself, who's sitting here in our presence and giving us, we're making a mandala offering to him there. And also the place, where we are making the mandala offering is not just ordinary place, but it's actual celestial mansion. It's called the Lapis Lazuli Pure Land. That came into existence through the power of medicine Buddha's wisdom. And by imagining this, and from the depth of one's heart, offer everything, one's body, one's possession, and one's the virtues of the three time in a form of the mandala. Page 97.
la janjo bono dane jabje dagi chinin jibe tsunonje dola benje zonje no zonje no la janjo bono dane jabje dagi chinin jibe tsunonje dola benje zonje no zonje jono la janjo bono dane jabje dagi chinin jibe tsunonje dola benje zonje no Majo no get out on the message, and Tojalana Meva Yandava Dube Sanjay Rinpoche. In one year, the Chinese Tobaracha, it is the Chonjin, the Mebejabi, Genoa Samosa, Novekano Geshe, Romano Leva, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the Leva Seta December.
So now please generate motivation, thinking that I must achieve state of full enlightenment, the ultimate state of full enlightenment, quickly for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to receive this medicine Buddha initiation. So please generate a motivation like that, just as has been instructed by the previous lamas.
Dewan deba de chibare, dunga mendeba, tada padale, Toma mebane, tade padale, deyate dewan degayore, Medeyate, dungare, Yinayo, Medeya dungatena, the two the pa yungayore, Narasul. Deyaga dewatena, Yungate, Kalekabo Shevochi yungayore. Te yungayoba the Sosa Gumba Jini, Monetonegata, Dunga the Kariga Passe Gugundu, Deyaga Deva the Kariga Drogundu, Jokari Drogundu. Tosu Gumba Shea the Sera Jey, Karre Sena Narosoga, Deyaga, Deva Sengetel, Luchi Devato, and Semji Deva New York. Tinone Deva over the Semji Devatere. Luchi Deva the Kechevo Mare, Monetone Mare, Marosatana, Omaja Japan on the Chola, each doing at the Taman on the Lichi source in Sumare. Mitari Tatel, Senji de Kangayore, Sel Kangayore, Senji Dungayore. Tamabata solo lichu dunga yore. Kali chonju jagwa is a tele lichu dunga yore. Mitari translate solo senju dunga yore. Saya tuya to tenega kange yo amarete koroga ta khasele jabo ina na khari ina na koroso ta yoko chongwala soba tenega senju dunga yore. O te ita ngaroso ane si dro gaya ge dewa te yo senju dewa te dro gu yore. Ane pa seya ge dunga te yo tene senju dunga te se gu yore. O te se ge tashi de karundu tani. Jaha so gane memon senanda tesolo tene dunga seda dong dewa data tashi no mana so che chega yorwa tashi no mana so che chene ore trechi ri ndra manda sabatene pha tene lo ye dong aro so dewa data do dunga seda lo rete rete thiga dewa do thog meduga dunga se thog meduga roba trechi ngibo yaji tone ngone rone memo ga dunga sebe tashi rete Kashele dunga sabashe yungwar, tiga. Tende chede gomba shiga gwar, ta. Roba, memo nyo tabata solo tiche yaji drone tene ticha ke leka cheja to leka mato ne dunga kaze yungdu. Eya to dunga sebe tashile roba te. O teri te ita dunga sewa dang. Ane dewa droba te tiche gungi bo shengi pigi tene dra toge mepa te gomba shiga gwar. Dro toge mepa te soso ge ina nge tata me roba te shiga gwar. Soso ge gumba shige ina tel riba ka chogre roba karere tushena ngaro so dunga sebe tashele tuching mbo yaji tone na manda tene tuching mbo raji tone na manda tene che chege yore te tada dunga se to munduga dewa to dema che to munduga dema se nge dange sheya dere kashele dunga saba she yungore teri sonji jaga kasa khala leka matole dunga rege yore 쇼체네 걸어서 충나서서 마가 쉬고요. 쇼체네 특징이 뭐 야진도가 와서 특자가 내가 전에 밀을 내가 도고요 말이야. 에메토바 이다 전에 텔라 전에 둥아 용의 둥아 라보 용의 누가 어떤 공부하시 거래서
So it is very important to set up a proper motivation whenever we receive initiations or engage in any kind of practices. And so what we want is happiness, and what we don't want is the suffering. So even though we want to have happiness and we don't want sufferings, we experience plenty of sufferings. We come across many of the sufferings. but the happiness that we want is very difficult to be achieved. And so now we have to think. It is important to think, what is the cause, for the sufferings? What brings the sufferings, and how to eliminate it, and what brings happiness, and how to cultivate it. And so we have to think that very importantly. So among the sufferings, there's like physical sufferings and the mental suffering. Now, among these two, mental suffering is the main one. So mental suffering means the physical suffering is not that important at all. The main the concern that we should have is regarding the mental suffering. And so actually the mental suffering is experienced mostly by the people who are doing very well, like the rich people, high status people, and so forth, the kings, ministers like that. So they experience the mental suffering. And so they don't have physical suffering. They don't have to work hard physically. They have mental suffering, thinking about how to run the country and so forth, right? So that is a more problem for them. So among these two, so the poor people, who have the physical suffering, so who have to go through many difficulties physically, in order to do things, so that thereby they encounter many physical sufferings, but not much of the mental suffering, so which are mostly experienced by the people who are doing very well. So in order to eliminate these sufferings, we go through many different kind of means, or eliminate that. And sometimes we invent all these many different things, machines, missionary things, or the technologies, and all this, to bring happiness, right? And then sometimes, even though they bring some kind of happiness, but then they create another suffering, a new suffering, for us. And so this is to eliminate, the physical suffering, but then it also it can bring other mental sufferings, or other different kind of problems. So now we use the missionaries and all these technologies, to do the things, and now there are many people out of job, not having jobs. So there's difficulties and another kind of sufferings. So then, like in India or many other countries, now they're using many machines, and people don't have a job. So we have to really, think carefully what are the sufferings, and how do we eliminate that? What causes the sufferings, and so forth.
Dewa to do badon, Dunga Savatel, Takaru going to send the church about Kone Segu Yard. Church, and then so never Koyak Dewachi, Dunga, you said over your Tema to say at Sawan in a Tachi Yomade. Tangisha and Mujangaro to meet it, Lantor, Dewa Data to Dunga Setal and Manda Java, Tonega, Sono Tone, Terry Bato, Sono Tone, Teche, Yorete, Ongaroso Devan, De Kiva, Dunga Savate Sawan in a younger Yomade. They may at that, they were take Kivachi, Jayachido, Dunga Sayat, and Nobi, you cannot mato Mundusing water. Namasanji, you cannot check your te. They tongue also Garsagarota, Chishaba, Konega, Techegover, Chia Boche, Chega, and the Sozo and Deva Kiashi, only Chinole, Abochengas and Coral, Jayon and a man and Deva Kine, no Chibo Yore. Monetone Yore, touching. The man, a judge and Candicina, Scenting Dada Conde Armato, Shibotawani Yomare. But they don't also Dewa Data, Dunga Seta, the Chichaba Coneche, Gundus, Guy that Chichaba Coneche, Gaita, Chichebi, said, and that the Yashu res. Roba, Tarili Yaga, Sawan Yomare, Tajiman, Chief, Check the son, Sawan Yomare. One at Yoma, Taring also Chich. Tangit Jose Terida, Dewa Duba to Dunga Seva, Chichaba, Konega Chegundus. They Soda Sozol and they had the Dewa, Medeja de Dungare. Hotel Dunga Sea to Dewa Deate the Chugundus. They go at the Chishabate and the Tarin Della, Maros Metu, Della Chishabate, Tisa Yasho de Tereyores.
So from this reason, it is obvious that external means will not be able to eliminate the sufferings, right? So the only way to eliminate the suffering is through the practice of the Dharma, Buddha's teaching. The Buddha's teaching is the only means to overcome the sufferings from their root. And so, like I said, all these different things that we try to do, different methods we try to apply through the technologies, by the scientists and so forth. But this doesn't really bring the sufferings to actual end. It only creates more suffering different kind of sufferings and so forth. So only way to eliminate the suffering is to practice Dharma and Buddha's teachings. That's the only means, to overcome the suffering and in order and to achieve the everlasting happiness. It's only through the practice of the Dharma, and that Dharma practice, it's only through the Dharma. There's nothing else that can bring real happiness, everlasting happiness, and that can eliminate the sufferings completely from its root. And so therefore we have to practice Dharma only. So only practice Dharma in order to eliminate the suffering and to achieve happiness. And so that Dharma that we have to practice, we should practice right now. So this is the best time to practice Dharma. Right now, when we have achieved this perfect human rebirth, where we have all the favorable conditions to practice Dharma, this is the best time. There isn't any better time. So if we say we're going to practice later, then later is uncertain. It's very uncertain whether we will have this kind of opportunity or not. We don't know. So therefore, practicing Dharma right now, when we are born as a human being with all these leisures and endowments, this is the best time. Because what we want to have is happiness, and what we don't want is suffering. So the only way to do that is through practicing Dharma, and that we should do right now when we are born as human beings.
다리인데 가서 취시비 뒤세대 다리 야쇼 연바데 가르레 세랑에 저러서 내셔 자고 말아서 리제 차를 매일이 쳐바쳤는데 내리지 토더라 매일이 강가 매일이 쳐바쳐 말에 말아서 토대하고 매일이도 리 쳐바쳐래 오늘 돈에 내리 셔라가 갈래 가보래 리제 차를 세나요 소소가 매일이 쳐바쳐지 토잔디 아니 서제제 때마다는 쳐자디 야가비가 서제제 때마다는 자대요 말아서 그러봐 대마세 농아 용도지 때마다 자대요. 아니 태가요 대마침에 계위신에도 태요래. 말로서 소소가 마시오하래 마도 지시행에 라 망고 봐. 거기 라마 계위신에 다다 공대요래. 그러봐. 어떤 드니전에 전세 뭐뭐 선호 도에는 다 다리 지시고 다제라마다 다리를 뒤서 야하시 먼저 소소서 놀러 용쇼가 용거요. 제가 주시행에 라마 계위신을 라 말해 말해. 소소가 마치오마도 라 말해 말해. 되니지요. 어느 다 성제제 때마다 자 태가에 사바치에 계위신도 태바 이나양 아니 소소를 제디 사야 퇴야나야 매바도 아 되니기는 되니기 된다 깔레 시작이요 봐. 되니지기 된다 깔레 자가리 되네요 말해. 오늘 돈에 소소를 다 내가 농시 세나다 리농시 때서는 소소를 빠비 야 다치지요. 아니 릴 나사나요나요 나사되고 나네를 아니 치세 도고 말해 가야 말해 알레 내를 나사도 교체그러 와 나사 릴 나사요나 어디 대다래요 치세 도고 말해 되는 메두가 로나 소소 내 마셔야 돼 누구도 다 가래 나로서 신주 제야 돼 대수 신주 제가로 와 소소가 가지던 동데 대신주 제가로마도 파쇼 팔 신주 제가야 나로서 대도요 말해 자하나도 렘보나도 전에 시레신드나이는 파쇼 신주 제야세 랭게 요아마도 나로서 소소 신주 제야다마도 랭게 자완이네요 말해 얘나요 나로서 루슈세나인다 가르세나다 파쇼 버델 가르렌도 정저 따네마도 소소근 롤린도도 자완이네 공부지고요 말해 문에요 말해 대 공부지도 좀 아이네 말해 저러서 간이에 제대로 하고서 말어 봐 오늘 전에 그 파쇼 번에 가르는데 번에 롤린데도 가르는데 번에 콘도 달류 가르는데 번에 내바체 뭐 가르는데 전에 전저서 따니 로데고 요래 가르 제래라 와 번에도 콘도 사버리 제제래 언데도 내바 사버리 제세네 시안 로고 요와 소소를 텐데면 사네 준유 제고요 말어 봐 소소 콘도 사버리 엔데면 소소 내바 사버리 엔데면 세단에 준유 제고요 말해 오늘 전에 요 다음에 주대 가르도 취시비 되고 내 가서는 시바 이마 무료다 시바 저 도저 집에 대세 야보자네 수수구도 나치 용한 나몰 예하 시바 이제 하고가 말은 대세 야보자 가르서 오늘도 사체보 말에 세나도 세초 말어 와대 얘나 용하러서 오 가세 셔사래 다 세는 바자시 요절에 마도 네토스 세야 다원이네 요 말에 대세 자야도 개체보레스 단단 여기 아니 세자도 소서 반 대세 야보자 수수구도 대세 자야도 개체모레서 다 다른 가로서 셜로 또 제공뉴스 농로 당 가로서 봐 대사과도 또 강가 야타제레사를 봐 거기 발은 대세 자야도 개체모레서 뉴스 중군요 대송당 소소소소 공시시세 야타제 제베 까르이다 공시시세 아니 대마세 가정아 뭐가 내요 요들 라마 세번 버체를 세번 줘서 저러 다리 꾸르꾸라 세르베 같이 지도를 해야 돼. 제가 가보슈 오늘 전에 니 답안에 투제체 답안을 노르캐롤라이나 텔은 도토 사르베 상가 달론 도토 가보레샤 뉴스 어다 저 가발레노 규제 야보쇼보 슈센에 테니스문 대송당 알아서 내세 대대 자야데 랭게레 누가 아니 나서서 나사는 뭐누가 대체로 넘어서 나사 누가서 사 요즘 말에 저 맨두 요 말해 봐 아니 소소소소가 개와시나 야포 예마도 디파시나 야포 메바데 테스테 하고 그러 봐. 제마 제제세 하마거나 테테테 하고 그래. 당가로서 다다바도 노바 선집에 치고를 쉬바 있다. 나로서 배자 전번을 드리더네 저와 동요 와르다. 저 가르쳐 봐래. 저렇게 지체면 또 와대 가르래. 저를 리제 나사가 나 레베. 아니 저렇게 전에 취배에도 디베님이 하면 거 레베. 저를 때땡에 매봐 레베 저때 뭐 쉬어야 돼 내가 저를 때 말해 시고 봐 어떤 전에 가도면 라마도 탈 까그래로 저를 치땡에가 가리고 매일 잡아제 토요 하면서 라요 세다고 할 레벨 되래 뭐네 전에래 별로 땡에도 나가 말해 뭐네 저로서 샤레 노이 파리 될 내가 치기세야 돼 뭐네 전에 할 레벨에 어때 주셔야 돼서 할 레벨에 이나요 소소소소는 이네 대대 공토도 제토야 돼 개체모래 뉴스 당이 몰라 하고 나 나름 시에는 더 잡아 가리 아무거나
So it is best time to practice Dharma because we have this special body. Usually we call it a prophet human rebirth. So we have this prophet human rebirth, to practice the Dharma, and so therefore this is the time, to practice Dharma. We have a prophet human rebirth, we have met with the Buddha's teaching. So we have, some have met with the teachings of the Buddha, who there are teachers, who are able to explain these teachings to us. We have not only just teachings of the Buddha, but the complete teachings of the both Sutra and Tantra, teachings of the Buddha. And we have also met with the spiritual teachers, or the teachers who can explain these teachings to us. And we have so all the favorable conditions, we don't, and we also don't have all these extreme unfavorable conditions, like being very, very sick where we cannot practice Dharma, or and so it is on our own mind that we are not able to, from our own mind, that we're not able to do these practices, right? And so, the practices or not depends entirely on us. It doesn't depend on others. So once we have all these favorable conditions, if we don't practice, then it is us to blame. And then in some cases, if we don't have enough food, like enough necessities like food, clothing, and so forth, then again you will have to work so hard for that there will be no time to practice. And so in our case, we have ample, possessions to make us do the practices, right? And we don't have any extreme diseases in our body, that will prevent us from doing the practices. So these are the things that we have to analyze. What are the things that we have or we don't have that allows us to practice Dharma, or that doesn't allow us to practice Dharma. That's what we have to think about. So when we think about that, when we analyze that, and if we find that we have all these things to do the practice of the Dharma, then we should not draw back. We should not pull ourselves out to not to do the practice. And so this is the important thing for us to analyze. So analyzing about ourselves, not analyzing about others. It's not important to analyze about others. It's more important to analyze about oneself. So we normally, think of others. Oh, that person is such and such. That person is a very angry person. That person, has a very, strong attachment, strong desire, and so forth. But we never think of ourselves, whether we have strong attachment or not, whether we are an angry person or not. And so this kind of the analysis should be done upon oneself and not on the others. So I'm just explaining this because I was advised by His Holiness the Dalai Lama to advise. He said the monks in the monasteries who are studying the philosophy, and so that they understand. He said, oh, I heard you are going to the Kurukulla center, and he said he's very happy that I was going to come here and give the teachings and so forth. And he also requested if I can go to other centers like in North Carolina and so forth. So I wouldn't be able to make it there this time, but wherever I can, I will do my best to explain the teachings as much as possible. So, like I said again, it's important to practice Dharma since we don't have all those unfavorable conditions, that much, the negative conditions that prevents us from doing the practice. So we should always do the practice. If we are very sick, we can't do the practice. If we are very poor, cannot meet with all the necessities, then again we won't be able to practice. And if we don't know the benefits of the practicing Dharma and the disadvantage of not practicing Dharma and so forth, then again we won't be practicing Dharma, right? And so we have all these favorable conditions. We do have some understanding about the Dharma. So what is good and what is bad, what to be cultivated and what to be abandoned. We know that, so we have to practice Dharma. So that's what Kadamba masters used to say, that we should always practice Dharma and question ourselves, whether we are able to practice Dharma or not. And it says, are you sick? And it says, no, I'm not sick. So then you should practice Dharma. Are you hungry? Are you very poor? Or you cannot meet with your necessities? And I'm not. And so then you should practice Dharma. And or have you not met with the spiritual guides who explain your teachings? No, I have met. Then you should definitely practice Dharma. So all these things, so you have to question yourself. That's how Kadamba masters, used to question themselves and also induce or stimulate themselves to do the practice of the Dharma. And that's how we should think ourselves whether we are able to practice Dharma or not. And because Dharma is the only way, practicing Dharma is the only way to have a happiness and a good rebirth in the future. So we can't say, oh, I was too busy working, so therefore I didn't get a chance to practice Dharma, and therefore please excuse me not to go to the lower realm. So you can't say that. So you can, if you haven't practiced Dharma, even you can't say I was sick, so I wasn't able to practice Dharma. You can't say I was too old to practice Dharma. You can't say I was too young to practice Dharma. So whatever your condition, if you have not practiced Dharma, then the only place to go is the lower realm. So since there are a place that we have to go, and it is important to be familiar with the place where we're going to go. So if you don't have to go to that place, then it's not necessary to know about that place. But if you're going to go, then it's good to know about that place so that you can prepare yourself well. Right? So since we're going to go to the future life, therefore we should prepare well ourselves to go to the future life. And so in whatever way we can practice Dharma, we should practice. So of course you are very, very good. Although you have all this work and so forth, you still manage to make a time to come and do the practice. It's not like in Tibet where people don't work at all when they try to do the practice. So even if you do spend a little bit of time, then you should spend to do that as much as possible. Like I said, it is again important to analyze about oneself.
Konda tangi te rimbo de ngaru sono ma to kejule sono sane to yo ma do rimbo te reso enge achoro solo gemolo ya siore gemo te de lo ja ne choro se sinjeri de no no shiga marwa amo pogu chu to te de kale chen ma no gengo yina yu ta chi go te re sa ida chara to ba re go ma do ba nge ma lo ngaru so amche si kyu yo de sere amche chi lo nge ane chilonge je kyo de da jada ta so ache le ya ta de gange ta de ache de pa je lo ne jubo shi bon de wa sar wa me sen de ba de sar yi lo ya de ta de melen do sho de sha melen do sho no se je to je nya wan do ma chu chi se yo ba no ma sa go se je to je nya wan do ma chu chi se yo kin jo do so ne se je to je nya wan do ma chu chi se de ya de sar then there's a deal. Let's talk Amati Noji, then the show logo of the Hakosa. Oh, Angela, Machi or the Lavaresa. Oh, yeah, Mateo Nyawando, Chichica. I got that. Mateo Nyawando, 10 Nujing here, Nadunga, Sonato, one Torah and Doja.
So I spoke too much, too long in Tibetan. I didn't think about the translator. So then I remember about a joke. So sometimes it's good to tell a joke so that maybe it will help you to, be awake, more. So once there was this. So I don't know if this will be really a joke in English. So I thought that was enough, right? So usually, anyway, there's this a person who usually goes to do puja in people's house. So there are these people who don't do the explanation of the teachings. They just go around and do pujas in people's house. So it's a kind of a tradition in Tibetan culture where we request monks to do the puja for you. So you don't have time or you don't know how to do yourself, so you request somebody else to do for you, and you sponsor, you or make offerings, and that will help you. So anyway, so this monk was reciting the prayer. Actually, he was doing a medicine Buddha puja, and then in the medicine Buddha puja, there came a part, where he was saying, you have to, there was a part, where he says, may all sentient beings not fall into the lower realm. So that's why I was saying this doesn't become a joke, because not, is different from ma, in Tibetan, and so he says, may all sentient beings not fall into the lower realm. And then instead he said, so because he was reciting proudly, and he saw that the landlord or the sponsor were looking at him, he wanted to impress them, and he started to recite very fast. And when he was reciting very fast, he missed one of the words, where instead of saying may all sentient beings not fall in the lower realm, he said may all sentient beings fall into the lower realm. And that's not the joke, though. So jog is the negative part, which says majurshi, so mandoa means don't go, right? So may they not go into the lower realm, may they not fall in the lower realm. And so he said doa gyurshi, which means may they fall into the lower realm. And so ma is actually is a negative for not, but also if by itself it can be also like mother for ma, And then he said, oh, you missed the ma. And he said, okay, so may the mother also go to the lower realm. So, something like that. So now, since you're awake, I can go on and explain a little more now.
Eta chonde de mebe jabe jeno ta kare chonde de mebe jabe ta chewa sena da ngaru ste shegu go yare tari jeno sheya ge chonde de mebe jabe ge jeno de ane chonde de mebe jabe cheton la sanje thong je le ane ponto je yete kanga nyam ba de sanje to je so do na chigun do ye te se ba nyam ba ni te se ate sanje kanga lo ponto je yete nyam ba de thang ke ba do melo je ung ge tane chonde de mebe jabe ge te jeno de chewa da pa ba yi sung go yare 가르레 세나 존데데 멤베 잡고 걸어거더니 수야치를 넘을리를 세나다 내 차체모치 용내를 더니 짠에 마토네 내 존데데 손제 존데데 롱게 멤베 잡이고 끝이네를 더니 매치체네 대수 말에 생각돼 대이다 가르서 존데데 멤베 잡고 생각되가 걸어가 투세 멜로라 가르서 간세가로다 예덤 젠다 뜻소 예나 중화 중야도 뜻소를 대자 뜻소 되네 마 두르 노래라 네바데 추르 노고 요래세라 아고데 중화 뜻소 네바 추르 노고 요래세 존데데 멤베 잡이가 대 중화데 대자 뜻소 가세마 간세가로다 두르 노고 요나 그 네바데 체르 노야데 고로고 체시래 숨은데 멤베 잡이가 중데 너단 두두도 잖는다 티
So this again the initiation of the medicine Buddha, the King of Medicine Buddha, and it's very special because of course in general, all the Buddhas are same in terms of the qualities, excellent qualities they have, in terms of the realization they have, in terms of the abandonments they have abandoned. So they are all same in having abandoned everything that is to be abandoned, and they are all same in having realized everything that is to be realized, right? So the only difference among these different Buddhas is the method they use and the prayers they have made, to benefit sentient beings. So that's the difference. And so in the case of Medicine Buddha, of course, like it says, Medicine Buddha is to really to help those who are very extremely sick, and said that other Buddhas mantras, so if you recite other Buddhas mantra, and if as the people degenerate, if the people of the mind of the people degenerate, then the power of the mantra also degenerates, together. If their mind stream degenerates, then the power of the mantra also degenerates. But in the case of the Medicine Buddha mantra, it's not like that. And so even if people degenerate, but if they recite the mantra, then it becomes even more and more powerful. More there's degeneration of the people, there's more increasing of the power of the mantra. So therefore it's a special one.
나사도 솔로 편도 여바 마세 아니 녀모 뒤서요 신도 와레서 가르레서 나로서 나사 용한테 모체와데 녀모 뒤서가 되는 용거요 나로서 나사 용한테 레도 녀모 발라 되는 중고요 세고요 봐 요아이다 다 존데 멤베 잡이 되데 되네 제노 셴네 정말 사거이나 안게송의 용알레 쇼도 그래서 나로서 조제 바다하다 사가 주제깔라 녀베 존데 세소 티베 녜디 중아세 뒤에서 내세 성제 면제라 면도 야유결라 차살로 세다 조지 바다하다 사거래 대수 말해 어제이다 되네 그 배셔와체도 demate 아니 나로도 다리를 오셔야 있어.
And so this mantra of the Medicine Buddha, so actually Medicine Buddha, is an emanation of the Buddha who manifests as a Medicine Buddha to help the people with the diseases. And so not only it helps to overcome the diseases and sickness, but also it helps to eliminate the cause of the diseases. The cause of the disease, actually, we say the karma and delusion. Karma and delusion are the cause of all the sufferings and all the sicknesses that we go through. And so the reciting mantra of the Medicine Buddha helps us to overcome all those delusions, like the three poisonous delusions: attachment, anger, ignorance, pride, and so forth. And and also it helps us to protect from the lower realms. So and then therefore reciting mantra of the Medicine Buddha will so this and not only that it eliminates the sicknesses and diseases, but also helps to overcome the lower realm, falling into the lower realm. So that's why Lama Tisha said in this prayer, in the Medicine Buddha prayers, is a Bhagavan with equal compassion for all, whose name when merely heard dispels lower realms sufferings. And so he said that, right? And the dispeller of disease and three poisons, to Buddha, Medicine Guru, Lapis Light, I prostrate.
다 나로서 먹어시 먹어와체 다 넘바서고 끊어져라 마게세제 통무제제도 라라는 매 용다바 주베 선제제 공부 토바샤 디셔도 존데데 메베자비 연우셔녀 메가다 끊어터니 지코가레 셔도는 단데 존데데 메베자비 제노셔네 아니 단다데 가르스 용아 동아들 나사토소로 세노고 요레데 끊어켜야 될 소소 내리 트라비 쳇도 기보 Shaya Yamare. Kuru show the net tondo. Then Tandang Aru Terra, Jitembe met the Soga, net is a target of Mother Nesung, the only show Togo Marava. So then the maybe Jabi Generation is Junga Dongayana, Nele Tondo, Nesung, Dungale Tondo Yore. Chico Niche and Dogore. What is that? What Tenichi Soto Kono Kayate Tenikin Mare said. Magis said to Jalana, Dobe Sunju Tabachi, Sheda, so they may be Jabi Generation, number Tabachi, Chegi, Soto Kono Kashus.
So now you should receive the initiation by generating a motivation with the thought, thinking that I must achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to receive this Medicine Buddha initiation. So like I said, it helps. The Medicine Buddha mantra helps to heal from the diseases, but it should not be taken only for that purpose. Yeah? So you should say instead of you should say I'm going to take this in order to benefit all sentient beings. And so when you recite that mantra, and of course that benefits, and then it also will heal your diseases. So it is different from the doctor, the regular normal doctors. So normal doctors will give medicine, will maybe help you to overcome the disease, but will not be able to protect you from the lower realms. But here, with the Medicine Buddha, you can also get better from your disease, get healed, but also protect you from the lower realms. So it is important to have this motivation, thinking that I must achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to receive the Medicine Buddha initiation and engage in the practice as much as possible.
Jawangamalo Kazo Jansuga Jubade, Koroga Lama Mobosane Ma Shivade, Lama Mobone Ma Jubade Rinji said. Yechas and Korolotane, Jonah the maybe Jabi Shangas the Zenella, and the Korolo maybe Jabi Geno Kavareza, 10 years. Shala Yeji do Rigi, you got cheat and debate there, and do say that Shala Chaka Chambote reduce.
And so the lineage of this Medicine Buddha initiation or the practice came from the fifth Dalai Lama, Khalsang Gyatso. He had a direct vision of the Medicine Buddha who gave him the initiation, the empowerment, and then it was passed from there. So this the lineage has both the close lineage and the knowledge lineage passed from Buddha, from fifth Dalai Lama, the Khalsang Gyatso, all the way down to the present. So now with that motivation, please repeat this verse of making request with your hands folded together.
Kunje Geshe Pumbo Chen.
Kunge Geshe Pumbo Chen.
Sibe Kolo Namjong Wa.
Sibe Kolo Namjong Wa.
Tering Shebe Rinche Ter.
Tering Shebe Rinchen Ter.
Soye Dala Kati Zo.
Soye Dala Katin Zo.
Kunje Geshe Pumbo Chen.
Pumbo Geshe Pumbo Chen.
Sibe Kolo Namjong Wa.
Sibe Kolo Namjong Wa.
Tering Shebe Rinche Ter.
Tering Shebe Rinchen Ter.
Soye Dala Kati Zo.
Soye Dala Katin Zo.
Kunje Geshe Pumbo Chen.
Pumbo Geshe Pumbo Chen.
Sibe Kolo Namjong Wa.
Sibe Kolo Namjong Wa.
Tering Shebe Rinche Ter.
Tering Shebe Rinchen Ter.
Soye Dala Kati Zo.
Soye Dala Katin Zo.
Oh yeah, that's it. I'm going to so on the battery. So on the battery, no touch it. Caso Shaba Nuji, but Machito Chipachi Jore, Tangaroso, Tanda Lama Yotama Bandeta, Mayima Chode, maybe Jabo Kungi is on Baton. And it under Nekonda, your children, the maybe Jabi, Runo, Jayakon, Bendaya, Rombo, or Tenichi is on Baton. Roba? Tenet under Terro. Dada Pumba, Panalo, Mombo Toya, Deta, Pumbare, Noja Pumba, Panda Carrier, Chode, the maybe Jabi, Jayakon. Pune no Tane Chode, the maybe Jabo, but the Let's Sagala to Jore. Hagodaro Tene, Jayakongi is also cheated. And it's on the good day, the maybe Jabi Kungi is so much each. Roba, Tene?
Okay, so now again, like I said yesterday, the Lama from whom you are receiving this initiation, you should not think of him as an ordinary person, but rather think of him as the actual Medicine Buddha himself. and and the place where we're receiving this initiation, we should not be taught, of as an ordinary place, but rather think this place as well, think this place as Pure Land, or the celestial mansion of the medicine Buddha. So it's a celestial mention of lapis lazuli, blue in color. So you see that that's the vase here. The vase, is wrapped with the blue, blue scarf. It is to symbolize, this the lapis lazuli color. And this vase, is like it's a celestial mention of the medicine Buddha. So this you should think of it as a medicine Buddha. And then you see the picture, small picture of medicine Buddha in the front. That's the actual medicine Buddha. It's inside, supposed to be inside the vase, which is the celestial mention of medicine Buddha.
I think Nongala Saji Lama Yodo Soja Chonse Power Kandu Chijo Soma so Dada Yo so as me Bachega Castle Nojita, me Bachenity, and the Langaro Chanju to the same check of yours.
And then, like I said again yesterday, and above that, you have to visualize all the root and lineage gurus, the deities, the Buddhas, bodhisattvas, Dharma palas, and so forth. And then in their presence, now you have to take the bodhisattva vow. And so in order to receive this bodhisattva vow, first it has to be preceded by taking refuge and rejoicing in the virtues and purifying the negativities.
Sanje Kyoncho, Chikyoncho, Gendo Kyoncho, and Tangaru Nova Sanje by Italian Kunjo Sala Chas and Rogoyata, and it under Kunjo Sada Niso Goyore, Sanje Kunjo, Chikyoncho, Gendo Kyoncho, and Maruso Nova, and Kunjo Somichagore, and Chichi Jenda, Kenjo Chimato Yamare Sado, and Kasha Kenjo, Tonka Yamare, Tonga Jaya, Tagade Sado, and the Chichi Damanda Yore. They know the Maruso Kunjo Somichagayate, Jonset and Marus Hako Gore. Pena Membadon. Medon, Neo Sanji on the Shene. Naroson Jideme net, Chamochi Tabala, Memba Yabuchi Goyor. Memba Yabuchi Goyor. And then Memba Yabuchi Yona in Digo Mare, then May Yabuchi Man, Memba Yana Pegama, net was a maybe Trogama, make Trogarwa. Oh, Tita, Memba Yabuchi go and Nojega, Maroso Chat, Tambo, Sanji Kunjo, the Memba don't Dawa. Memba don't Dawa. And then Chukanjo, the Madon Dawa. Maroso ne tawala member se mare mesa ni talk yo me yapochi yo no member yapochi the me yapochi on ne tele gashe talk ho yo ho tita chukenjo de me don dawa reser ane gendo kejo de ne yo don dawa reser gendo kenjo de ne yo don dawa ho ta te ne yo pita bachi go yo ne ba cha chebo na de wa tele ngone to ne member yapochi don me yapochi do ne yo yapochi yo na ane se men pashe talk ho re sungde ne yo de sera ke chembo yo Sonji Chonde Koroga never Neo Jondosene Neo Moboshe. Sonji Chonde Koroga Neo Moboshe, Neo the Shara Kechemore. Korol me Katu Tenge Zonana Tapana, you Namada Jugo or what any Kati Chingo. They is that 10 Najiga, Maroto Chat Tembo, the Sanji Kenjo, Chavangit the Chikejo, Chat Daru, the Gendu Kenjo, what there's some of the Jagayate, Nevado, Medo, Neo Sot Abigatani, Soja.
And so, since we're taking refuge in the refuge, and so we have to know the object of refuge. We have to recognize what are the object of refuges. So here in the Buddhism, we recognize 3 objects of refuge. And in some they say there's only one object of refuge, and that there are some they say there are like infinite object of refuge. So there's no point in counting them and so forth. So anyway, in Buddhism we recognize or identify 3 objects of refuge. And the reason to have 3 objects of refuge is like in order to protect somebody, from a disease, for somebody who is very, very severely ill. For that person, we need a doctor, to identify what the disease is. So that's like the Buddha. And then we need, we need a medicine. The doctor will not be able to cure the disease. So, by himself, he needs a medicine. He needs to give the medicine, right? And so just like that, we have a Buddha who explains the teachings. But if we don't practice the teaching ourselves, we'll not be able to free ourselves from the suffering. So the teaching is like the medicine. And then the Sangha, the Sangha, the third object of refuge is the Sangha. Sangha is like a nurse or someone who is taking care of the person who is severely ill. And so if somebody is very severely ill, and then you have to always help that person, and with many things, and including like giving medicines in time and so forth, right? So if you don't have that, that will be again difficult, to recover from the disease. So, like Buddha Shakyamuni himself, he also has served, himself as a nurse, to many of his disciples when they are sick and so forth. So it's very important, to have somebody who is willing to take care of the person. So that's like the Sangha. So we therefore, in order to free from the sufferings completely, we need all these three objects of refuge: Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And so if we have all these three things, then and we have the doctor who knows the disease, the medicine that can cure the disease, and the nurse who will help you to take the medicines and so forth, then it is possible to recover, to not die if you have not exhausted your merit or the lifespan. If you have not exhausted the lifespan, and then it is possible to recover from that. And so therefore Buddha is the founder of the refuge, who explains what is sufferings and what is the good and what is bad and so forth. And then the actual refuge is the Dharma, and the Sangha is like the helper to help us achieve this Dharma.
군조설로 자선도 와절로 오늘 폐에 제보요래 당군의 자료도 접어서는 폐에 뺨무지 바수자요래 개체와나 지금 산지 폐에 제사서요래 이나요 다 되는 알레 로제 소로설로 다 잔도 제거요다 잔지 폐에 대대세 셔토가 얘는 배도 전부 용거래 오늘 돈에 그다 군조로 자수체 세대 용원에 돈에 그다 전부 제대 산지 폐에 전부 제대 산지 소소 공거요래 어떤은 지금 너네 자선 로에 폐에들 메다 메마인데 내배 못 주바세야 돼. 당가로도 내바데 지지 내바데서 게 뭐뭐 쇼고 누가. 장도 야보지 전에 내배 자원이네 못 주바래. 오늘 못 주바래. 대소도 내바이는 장도 야보지 저거면 돼. 다. 마도 제 장도 넘바 따바지 제거는 메다 메마인데 내배 못 주세야 돼. 가르를 세는 게마 자갈을 전에 총바지 누가. 총바지 누가 그것도 파자네 고전에 세고요 말해. 근데 이거죠. 이거 들으는 와 머리 주만은 와 저다가 칼라 주는 와 이거요. 칼라테 대야 이거 와래. 아니 칼라테 대야 이네 만도가라도 꼬마테 용네를 선바산에 칼라테 토로고요. 선바 칼라테 마키쇼 세데. 아니 선바가 마테고요. 아니 선바가 칼라테 자완네를 라고요 말해. 아니 선바는 샤 공부래 드네는 칼라 말아와 있다. 다 간에 제거서 다디 답바리 정하산에 드네체네 다 간에 제거서에서는 선바 걸어가 선호도 와라. 아니 녀마치를 그세네 되는 가로도 다 배고 쳐바치를 끌어요 와. 끌어তে 마티 되는 다다치네 대들가. 다 아니야 뭐게네 아 용네를 칼라데 야시에 다리를 만도게를 런서 티키고 삼바라 칼라데 마키쇼 라디와. 아니 삼바 티게세네 저런 마시는 가서네 롱거요도 보고요 아래 세거디와. 아 코를 칼라데 토스는 되게요 와. 아니 롱거요서 포아 말에 게 롱거요지서. 롱거요는 롱도 되네 말아봤어. 아니 간에데 삼발라 저런 롱도들 라데 게 롱거 있어요. 아니 삼바데가 되네 뒤는 완전히 전에 삼발라 뒤지지 칼라데가 롱로 치세는 가 미래 게 저거를 봤어. 이 저거를 봤어 라디와. 어떻게 제 조그랬어. 아니 되네 전에 뒤는 삼발라 뒤지지 가 칼라데 롱로 치지도가 삼바가 끌어가지고 라파데 치도 비모걸 만네 제포스 키요네 되네 님을 쉬는데가 상제라 잡스 채고서 제슈이자네 죄라 잡스 채고서 제슈이자네 견들라 잡스 채고서 제슈이자네가 아니 그러다 마트로 코 나타chen 하송네 마 배송을 뭐게 삼바치요라 삼바테살에 뉴크잘은 도 토고요 말에 마마 이제 내와 도 토고요 말에서 다 코테니 반도를 나타체네 아보 상제라 잡스 채고서 제슈이소 죄라 잡스 채고서 제슈이소 견들라 짜서 죽었는데 지슈스 그저 사마도 매과도 시연도 라바데 짜사래서 코로코로 텔라바데 텔라딜레 테 마마예도서 안존도 되고 오제 나도 르바노 견조설레 사셔도 강가 배송하래 티셔제네 선명거는 너무 년세 가진 너나 내가 생겨 자원이네요 말에. 어 다들 잔디가 배를 대요.
So when we take the refuge, it's good to understand the benefits of taking refuge. If we understand the benefit, then also we'll take the refuge. So actually, there's 70 verses of refuge prayer text that explains about all these benefits. But in short, there are 8 benefits that is explained in the text. And of course, we don't have all the time to go through all this explanation, but just to give you a short story about the benefits. So one of the benefits is that we will not be inflicted by the harm of the human and non-humans. So we will not be inflicted by any kind of harm from humans or non-humans if we take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So if we are being inflicted by all these different kind of harms, that means that we're not taking a proper refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. If we do, then we will not be inflicted by any kind of harms like that. And so there's a story about this retreater who was doing a retreat in a cottage, and so there's like only a small door and a small window where he never comes out. So the sponsor will just bring him a food and then pass him the food, and he will take it in. And then when he brings the food from the door, and then there's a thief who always come in and then take away the food from him. So then every time he's like kind of stealing, taking away the food. He says, "Hey, retreater, give me the food." He will say like that. And then he will like be scared and then give the food. And then the retreater was starving and he was feeling very weak, and then he thought of doing something. He says he must do something about it, but otherwise he's like always taking away my food. And then one day when he came to ask for the food again, and the retreater said, "Are you asking or are you robbing?" And then he said, "Oh, of course I'm." And then he said, "If you are asking, then that's not how you ask. You have to fold your hands together and say, 'Please give me the food.'" And then then he started to do like this, fold hand together, and then he said, "Please, give me the food." When he folded hand together and asked for food through the window, and he grabbed his hand, and so before that he actually untied his belt, that ties the ropes together. He untied the belt, and then with that belt, and he tied the hands of the thief, and then tied him, and then placed it under his feet, and then with the stick, he hit him on the hand. He said, then every time he hit, he says, he hit one time by saying, "I take refuge in the Buddha," and then he hit second time by saying, "I take refuge in the Dharma," and then he hit again, very hard, by saying, "I take refuge in the Sangha," and then let him go, and then this person, and so he was going across the bridge, and normally they said there is demons under the bridge, and they always harm the people who cross the bridge. Even in the daytime, the nighttime, of course, nobody would dare to cross the bridge, and then he forgot about that. It was getting dark, and he was crossing the bridge, and he forgot about the danger of the spirits and the demons there. He was only thinking about how he got beaten by the Lama reciting this refuge prayer, and he said, "Oh, he hit me by saying, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha." He says, "Oh, good thing that there was only 3 object of refuge. If there were 4, it would have broken my hand." So when he was saying that, the demons underneath, they heard about that, and then they said, "Oh, now there's 3 jewels here in our area. We better run away." And then they all ran away from that area, from the bridge. And then since then, there was no spirits or non-humans to harm the people around in that on that bridge. So that's one of the benefits.
And the Batonje Soso Shaka Soso debated so ya temba cheni. Angende cheni the Maso Tashan in the Sawan in the Chegame, Soso Chegore. And then Doye Gala Che, Geshe, said, "Tate pay a chesure." Jenda to Gavasaka and me, Yabore, the Geshe, said, "Me, Yabore, said the Soya Tere." Tematu Koros Kale Sawan Gamare, Luci Kale Gamare, Nagi Kale Gamare, Parobo the Chemek, Kungu people and me, Yabore, so the Chegina. What I think when they turn a half pay a chambore. Bebachung Lache to the La Gala Jesa, chose the Sums and the Jeremy, so in your letter, Beba Chungi Lache Todala, Kale Chushusin. Monitor 2 Mombochi saw Yungo, Kale Temase Marwa, Misono to the Rava. The Paroboti Gavate doing a may Abbot the Tato to the Najado, and Tado and Yambo no yard. Maro to Chisha, the Kate to the Najado Tadore. Paroboti Yam Siona tell a Tado and a Tisha Matu, also the Shawa is in Najaga, Tisha, the Chisha, the Kate to the Najado Tadore. O 10 years and Yambo no good. O Hakotava. Oh, Geshe Yatico. Geshe Yatico, the Shadow Ketchamore. Same was Sono to Chirava. Paroboti Chat Hagion, may Abbot Asen. Nazo de Pevato Semodo Dane, Paroboti Sera Jey, Trichi, Tricarina, Kama Yabo Kichi, Chegis, Semote, Sholatini, Lash Odua. Or Teddy Sayaman, Tricarina, Noja gentlemen, Trico Loya Pochishara. Then Geshe Yatico. Ramone on Noji cook, Kaju Majucha and Rogas and Yamachil, cause says Homoshe Chogaba. Missing it the monotone Sono Toya Yonget, Kadina, Dugas and Rogama, and Total Sono Yaboshe Togre. O te is that Geshe Yonosha, Kitchamores, Tessa, the Nedon, and it shows you to the Sechega is.
And so then, so it says, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and then I purify all the negativities individually. And so, so the next line, when you repeat, that's what you're going to repeat. Next line where it says, that's like saying, purify all the negativities individually. And so then we have to think about all the negative karmas that we have created, negative actions that we have engaged in, and then purify them each, one and at a time like that. And so that's very important, to remove the obstacles and so forth. So purifying the negativities. And then the third line, which says, Doe Gela Jeyarang, means like I rejoice in the virtues of the others, or sentient beings. So rejoicing is a very good practice, because it doesn't involve any hardships, and yet we create a great amount of merit easily like that. So rejoicing is just thinking when you see somebody doing some good thing, like making a single bottle lamp offering, and then say, oh, that's very good. Think like that. You think, oh, it's very good that he's doing that like that. Just thinking, oh, that's very good. So you create the same amount of merit that other person creates. And so without going through many difficulties, you create a great amount of merit just by rejoicing. So if we see somebody making prostrations, and then we say, oh, that's very good. Thinking like that's very good. So if you think like that, that becomes rejoicing. Then you create the same amount of merit as the person who's making the prostration. So normally we Tibetans used to say, oh, when we see somebody making prostration, we say, what is it? He normally doesn't make prostration. Is it a special day that he's making prostration today? So, but we shouldn't be thinking like that. Rather, we should think, oh, it's very good that he's making prostration. People doesn't stay same all the time. They change, right? So sometimes maybe they're not good all the time, but then sometimes they can be good. So when they're good when they do good, it's good to think that, oh, that's very good. So that way you're rejoicing in other persons, then a good karma, a good action. And so mainly, rejoicing becomes an antidote, to the delusion, pride, and jealousy. So when we see somebody doing good, then we say that's very good. We agree with that, so we don't become jealous, other people. So now please repeat after Rinpoche with your hands folded together.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Chi.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Chi.
Dikba Tamje Sosara Sha.
Dikba Tamje Sosara Sha.
Doye Gela Che Rang.
Doye Gela Che Rang.
Sanje Changchu Yichi Sung.
Sanje Changchu Yichi Sung.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Chi.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Chi.
Dikba Tamje Sosara Sha. Doye Gela Che Rang.
Doye Gela Che Rang.
Sanje Changchu Yichi Sung.
Sanje Changchu Yichi Sung.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Chi.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Chi.
Dikba Tamje Sosara Sha.
Dikba Tamje Sosara Sha.
Doye Gela Che Rang.
Doye Gela Che Rang.
Sanje Changchu Yichi Sung.
Sanje Changchu Yichi Sung.
Oh, yeah, that is Shoji to the Sessia about and draw it. That Shoji said Doma, La Chogumar. There's an Shoji said Doma Togumar, Shoji to the same Sheba.
So now with that you have generated the mind of enlightenment or bodhicitta, So this is not a bodhisattva vow, okay? So you have generated the mind of enlightenment, but generated the bodhicitta mind, but it's not a bodhisattva vow. And so, like yesterday, now we have to generate ourselves or arise ourselves in the form of medicine Buddha in order to receive the initiation. So as Rinpoche says the prayers and sprinkle the water from the vase, you can just imagine everything becomes empty, and then from the state of emptiness, you arise and yourself in the form of medicine Buddha. And so now you have to imagine that through your strong, through the power of your strong devotion and the Guru, and the light emanates from the Guru's heart towards the actual abode of the medicine Buddha, the actual pure land of medicine Buddha, and from there, and invoke all the medicine Buddha with all the retinues, and they all come in the form of medicine Buddha, like a rainfall, and they fall, and then it dissolves into you, and then thereby you become blessed with the holy body, speech, and mind of the medicine Buddha. So again, develop a strong sense of devotion and faith in the Guru, and through the power of that devotion, the light emanates from the heart of the Guru Medicine Buddha, which strikes to the heart of the front generation Medicine Buddha, in the base and there. And then there's a Medicine Buddha there, who is blue in color with one face, two arms, the right hand in the posture of granting the supreme realization, holding a stem of arura fruit, and also he has on his left hand he's holding a begging bowl filled with the arura fruit, and so from there and the nectar and arura fruit. So from the begging bowl, imagine the nectar flowing down and entering into your crown, and through your crown hole on your head, and entering into your body, purifying all the negativities, all the delusions, and all kinds of diseases, like say the 424 diseases. All these are being washed away, and your body is again your body, speech, and mind are blessed with the holy body, holy speech, and holy mind of the Medicine Buddha. So imagine like that. And so now you have to imagine that you have been initiated with this vase.
Tegi trouble chebe tuga negeze tide the sheje tuga la pu tuji kanetene joden de monsone di joden de monsone me jabo ronda ni ba chi chene la ane choro sung kar sa garu choro so monsola pa thme me ba che gu yo res joden de me jabe kate choro so de la thme me ba che gu yo res.
And so now again, develop a strong sense of devotion and faith in the Guru, and through the power of that, the light emanates from the heart of the Guru Medicine Buddha, which strikes to the heart of the front generation Medicine Buddha, and then from his forehead, in between the two eyebrows, a replica of Medicine Buddha, a replica of Medicine Buddha emanates from that, and then come down and dissolves into you.
Ndijegalanya mejo dende seto tibenge de dunga se tu sene de sonje mejo la mende yegelo jado te ya do begeda ma begeda te ya do begeda ma begeda da samanga de te do begeda ma begeda da samanga kaya begeda dande shiwole jo 그저 내 지도 것도 그저 다단데 거다. 때도 begeda ma begeda 라다 삼만가테 소하 가야 베게다 아용 donne 라마라 대바 잡어시 베체 니라베 투게레게 제티는데 제지 투지 거 조된데지 아니 점바네 중아 어머나마 방가와 됐어요. 중아 때도 마 와자메 바 셴데 체로는 좀 점발라 파터 So then
with that you have received the blessings of the holy body of the Medicine Buddha, and now again develop strong sense of devotion and faith in the Guru. Through the power of that, light emanates from the heart of the Guru Medicine Buddha and strikes to the heart of the front generation Medicine Buddha, and then from the throat of the front generation Medicine Buddha, a mantra garland emanates from his throat, and mantra, the Medicine Buddha mantra Om Namo Bhagavate. So that mantra emanates from that, and then comes down and dissolves into your throat, and thereby now you imagine you're being blessed, with the holy speech, of the Medicine Buddha.
Waka Abiketa, Manamanga, Bacon, and Hara, so the Waka Abiketa, Manamanga, the Bacon, and Hara, so the Waka Abiketa, I don't understand. Lama Latini, Telva Toboshi, Labi to get gazetted and the Jeju to go to the Tugani. What you did, maybe Jabi Tugan, Hoying and watching. What the Mabashe, the Cherono Jetini, Nikala Tabi, maybe Jabi to them, and it also he knew the more Yeme, the children of Mimi Bachegores, and the Tujishala, Toja Toshin, Mimi Bachegor.
And then again, develop strong sense of devotion and faith in the Guru. Through the power of that devotion, a light emanates from the heart of the Guru, strikes to the heart of the front generation medicine Buddha, and then from the heart of the medicine Buddha, a syllable Hung emanates, infinite, syllable Hung infinite emanates, and that enters into your body and dissolves into your heart, and thereby now you have received the blessings of the holy mind of the medicine Buddha, and your mind and becomes inseparable from the holy mind of medicine Buddha. So please imagine that. Now again, develop strong sense of devotion and faith in the Guru, and through the power of that, light emanates from the Guru Medicine Buddha's heart and strikes into the heart of the front generation Medicine Buddha, and from the navel of the front generation Medicine Buddha, imagine a begging bowl filled with the nectar flowing down and then dissolving into the into your navel, and thereby you receive all the blessings of all the excellent qualities. So like the five qualities of the Buddha, right? Qualities of the body, qualities of speech, and qualities of mind, and qualities of the knowledge, or knowledge, and qualities of the action or activities, right? And so now this is the action. The knowledge. So imagine that you have received all the blessings of the knowledge of Medicine Buddha. Geshe tukala po betani geshe tuje ko choden de sone ne arure dombo pada me ba she re chero no je sone sa tambe me be jabi tele je shala to je to shinyo me ba je kudus. And now again, conditioned by your strong faith and devotion in the Guru, a light emanates from the heart of the Guru, which strikes into the heart now of the front generation medicine Buddha, and now from the secret place of the medicine Buddha, Arura, a tree emanates and then dissolves into the secret place, place of yours, and thereby you receive all the blessings of the holy activities of the Medicine Buddha. And so now you have received the Medicine Buddha initiation. So once you have received that, you have to recite the Medicine Buddha mantra. And in order to recite that, you have to receive the transmission of the Medicine Buddha mantra. So please repeat this after Rinpoche for the transmission.
Om Beganza.
Om Beganza.
Maha Beganza.
Maha Beganza.
Raja Samongate Soha. Om Beganza.
Om Beganza.
Maha Beganza.
Maha Beganza.
Raja Samongate Soha. Om Beganza.
Om Beganza.
Maha Beganza.
Maha Beganza.
Raja Samongate Soha. Om Beganza. Maha Beganza. Raja Samongate Soha. Oh yeah, that thing is getting another student. Maybe Jabi Geno Samo Lama Tombi Shaji that put over it. And Katseva no Geno, the most and the devil. Tag near the Shella catch a water. Maturu Tate, Pusumare, Pusumba, Tang, also Tangigo, Kono, Show and Noshigo, and Tonego, so that they maybe Jabi Geno Senate, the Chin number Tabachi Cherry is and it's also Konoteni Kutarba. They tang also Johnny, they maybe Jabi Geno Shivi, Gudetella, and the Chin number Tabaya Pochi Chayate, Sheba Ketchamure. There's a Matu Chematona, Tipita Pochi Chayate, Sheba Ketchamure, Tangi Sheba, no number to Chale, Arela, and what is Shola. And Contato Chayate, Sheba Ketchamure. Shale the Soso Pasha Majan, the Penishuli Tawan in the Jagamare. Leka Kali in a passion Tawan in the Shagamare, Soso bed Soche Garva. Che got it. Oh, this one time, a number so you know, Contato, Leka Tedel, and yeah, Matavache. Shaton and choosing the same chair, Labe Chaya Mare, Conve Chaya Mare, Rua, or the same chair, Tita, Chute the chair, Togina, Metangisha, Noji, and Aroso, Tisen de la Pabiga, Halevia for Yungare. Matolega, the tennis, and Aroso Chiche with his Savanine Yomare. Savanine Yomare, thing a Casula Kavayana drew the shade, drew them out of the cell of Pemodua. Similar Pemodu. And Namal Pelatane, Gegechi, Getruchi, or Reset, Getruchi. And Trumato Kangalola Lingaton Dogor, Dogor did a Lingaton Dogorva, a Lingaton Dogor Sarava, Lingaton Dodilla, and they get to the Koro Get and gave money with Lingatongas and Dogasade, Mikan Dogor, you say. She would reset. A Gege Teze, Tilamache, Tilamache, Lecasas and Rochu Resen, a Gege Tesum Reset. This you did a tiny much when you did forget a mission, rocking a mimo, watching rocking a Perejani and Logo Sarava. And then get to the oh, get to forget Karachi was Sangising and Chedegudus. Soon they'll get to the oh, Panel, Lecas and the Linga dog and do Selarsa. I got a Lecas and the Linga dog and do this. I shall remember the Lecas Haya, Mother, get to catch it in a mother. Shall remember the Lecas Haya, Mother. Gaggle, Jajamara, Resa, Tapanesh, Lecas and the Linga dog, your race and the Tela, Resa. Tell also Donga de Luga. Lega the Soto Tava Chesa Chuja Margina, Lega Mini Joy, Mama, Shanamato, Lega Yorova. Oh, did it.
So with that, I have offered the profound initiation of the Medicine Buddha, and like I said before, like we did at the time when we set up the motivation, they said, I'm going to receive this initiation and practice as much as possible. So now, since you have received the initiation, now it's time, to practice as much as possible. So whatever you can, you should practice. Of course, you have all these different things to do, but you should also make a time, to do the practice. If you you don't have to do everything that you need to do, right? So you can stop some of those things and then do the practice. So if you don't stop, doing the work, you will always have some work to do. So it can never be over with the work. So it says that you have to stop the work. Work will not stop by itself. There will be always some work to do. So so you have to do that. And so there's a story about this teacher and disciple in Tibet. And in Tibet, people usually go on a picnic, go to a picnic on a holidays, and so there were these people going on a picnic, and there's the disciple told the teacher, there are people are all going to a picnic, so let's also go to the picnic. And then the teacher said, okay, let me finish doing this work, and then we'll go to the picnic. And then the other time, then there was this a dead body being carried, by some people, and then they were all hustling around. And then the teacher asked the disciple, what's happening there? What's the hustle about? And then he said, the person has finished doing what he has to do. Now he's going to go to a picnic. So they're saying that, so what the disciple said was very, intelligent, because he says, until you die, you will never finish doing the work, right? There's always some work to do. So you finish work only when you die. And so therefore, you should make a time, stop the work, and make a time to do your practice.
Geshe Sera Jey Sera Geshe Chembore Peye Chemborela Pe Sera Yapochu Narungini Yena Sera Yapochu de Susore Tadingere Geshe Lade and Kejere Tachoro the Kange Maka Tono Channel and Tadi Chayatella Sera Yapochu so Narungini Yitaban Tuje Shea Dang and the Temaseta Narus and Dino Yonga and Shojare Pemere Kanga Narus Chudore, Chudu is a Chodo one Tonic party chombo, Yabochi Chayat, Shadaga Chambore. One Tonic Jawatoji Chembe, Kadina, Sungo, and Zombali, Kanga Tombo, Shade Yungo, Sungo, and Arosundi, Chongondela to be catches at Tombo Chemotoya, Savani Yomare. On the Tanda Padala Choros, Chombo Yabo Yosare, Shajade, Pemere, Choros, Kanga, Chombo Yabo Yosarella, Chombo Shada Chayat, Shada Chamber, and Arosu Kanga, Say Lama Jawatoji Chambare. Jawatoji Chamber, Kanga, Chombo Chayatella, Tuju Gumba, the Tayore. Then Lame Goma to Tambacheto, so long Arosu Tele Layo Marva. The Shini Lama, the Mune Tony Jawatoji Chamber, make Hawaii Lama Damana Yore. One Tony Lashes to Sonda so the Nishu Sunjang Hachu to Soyanu. Lama Chemo. Yanato Lama, one Tony Jawatoji Chamber, no Jesus to Sejimadu. Yamari, one Tony Yamarida. Then Arosu Tanda Joroso in Jawatoji Chemiga, Gumba and the Shajan and Dogo Yojela, Dogo and Mato, Legendela and Dogomare. Jawatoji Chamber and Gumba Papa shooting Arosu Tema the Chamber Kakayo Mare. One Tony take Gumba Papa Kanga, Tombo Chayate, Jawatoji Chemiga, Gonja Tatu de Tele. O te is a teacher, Chisa, Chidon, and what the Tatu Chijana.
So for last 2 days, we have gathered together and engaged in some, practices, the initiation and so forth. So we have accumulated a great amount of merit together. So I'm very happy with that, and we're very fortunate, to have that opportunity to accumulate a great amount of merit like that. And so the center has arranged all these things, and the director, the Geshe, and all the people who are involved in making this happen. And I would like to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for that. And secondly, we are all, all of us here, the foreigners, the Westerners, and the Tibetans, and all of us here, we are a Dharma friend. So we are Dharma friends, and therefore we have to be harmonious with each other. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama always mentioned about bringing a peace in the whole world and so forth. So this is just a small group, right? So it's possible, to bring peace, among ourselves here. So it is very important, to be harmonious with each other. And we have to, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is our teacher, and we have to listen to his advice, right? And there are many, His Holiness is a very special teacher. There are many teachers, when there are meetings of the teachers, and there will be like 60, 70, 100, different teachers who come there on the meeting, but there's none of them who is like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a great teacher, and if we can just, follow his advice and do as he advices, then that's all we need. We don't need anything more than that. And what his advice is that for us to be harmonious with each other.
하다 바다 제레라 오늘 돈내가 단대술로 가르도 저로서 관계 휴자가래 가르래 되잖아 라마 세바 rinpoche가 도모링은 돈에 강가 체매 봐서 자는데 제도 주야래 뒤주결에 계시 제가 용내는 저로서 제레 가제제세 깔라 놓여래 다 저로서 배도 가제 종여래 오늘 돈에 대소가 고추 사자대 저로서 유교 야보 시에터야 돼 세라가 개체모래 오늘 돈에 상가로가 가르지나 그 Sera Jey 다 Lama Zopa 지도서는 내와서요. 내와서요. 아까 내 뒤가 쉬고요. 오늘 돈내가 다 저러서 사사 제거요래. 그봐. 오늘 돈내가 Sera Jey가 또 가르고 다 좋아서 전화다 도서관가 Lama Zopa 지도서 강가 피고요래. 되게 내와지요래. 대마세 라마 유시도 Lama Zopa 숨데 바사 데들 콜레지 사리 공부지 봐래. Lama 유시도 강가 제모 제로 되니체 돼야래. 세다 이다 바지 내와테데 요래. 저바 테이다 나로서 아니 스물라요 테데 세다 녀보 요래. 네 나니 ng마를 태마를 로레를 양 거로서 Lama Zopa 지도치 메타샤. 데 로보레 저로서 가르쳐야 돼. Lama Zopa 주사데 저로서 주시에 가르세네. 네 라바이. 대소 Lama Zopa Rinpoche 거로가 세자데 저로 드니서 깔라 놓아야 돼. 할 레벨 야보레. 치치치 단디 마소 뭐네래 저러셔야 되레네 토요일 생계들 취소돼 메타샤 너만 Lama Zopa 로딜인데 대상한테 알아서는 되대 세슈나 요대 있다 이거 저러서라 쉬고요래 가서 잡아 놓지 뭐지 이거 아니 저쇼 도구 말인데 가봐 도구를 터야요 말에 저쇼 전에도 소박이 제거야 돼 저러서 단다바도 세슈 잡아래 단다 이나 세슈 야보자는데 Lama Zopa도 게시서가도 소 공부하다는 드비거든 잘해 야보 노로 지스 도도도체니.
And so you have worked very hard to bring up this center, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who has worked so hard to establish the center and many other centers around the world, and has done so much wonderful work. And then also Geshe who has taught in the center and benefited so many people here, and he continued to give teachings and it's now they have started, so it is important for us to keep it going. So that's very important. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche is very kind to us. And this for the center and for the Sera Jey monastery as well. Rinpoche has raised money to provide food for all the monks in the Sera Jey monasteries, and so that way we have a big connection with Rinpoche. Not only that. Not only that, but I have been a housemate with them in the bookstore, where monks live together. So Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, we used to live in the same house. We had been playmates and so forth, and so that's why I always go around. Whenever I go around to the centers that was established by Lama Zopa Rinpoche, I feel especially close with them, and I always advise them that it is very important to keep it on going. Because Lama Zopa Rinpoche started with the very great difficulties, and so we should keep it going. Also, like when I was in Taiwan, there was a center in Taipei. I visited there, and then I told them to keep it going, because Lama Zopa Rinpoche has worked very hard to open it or to establish it. And but later it was closed, but there was some other reasons. But anyway, wherever I go, I always try to tell them that it is important to keep it going. And so whatever they have done, like Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Geshe Tsugala, and we should keep it going with the support of all the members, the director, Geshe, and so forth.
Mone tone ke Sera Jey chembore made momo che ke tane pugula kha mande seng tane momo phemal yong du ga ane tongbo kala mano ne khoro khari chemena che sha ja ane khari chena che ja ja re tane jenda ke tawa to so tele yong go ba ane jenda ke tawa to so le ke phamala yu chigo sena menge du ga ado pele ina phamala chigo menge to sawa ni ne yong chigo mare te sonje tene yong du ga o te ita so ke chute ya bo che malaya de Sera Jey chembore chute la 제야 세소자게는 그 레전드 수야라 소바테네 용거래 소소도 뭐 텐로고 야래 다 뭐 테세나다 가실레 사래 다 보고 버리도 소리 테데 야보 쇼야데 나로서 랭게로 봐 가르라 거요나 나 나로서데 이게 돌로 세나다 가르 치체도 예나다 가리나 라야데 Sera Jey 쳔모레 누가 미소 생근도다 제나 되네 그 자리 떠서 코로서 때마다 쳔네 도르 뭐래 뭐래서네 라근도 생근도가 대 걸어서 라너 살이 소거는 가로서도 라마라 메케자 되는 거야. 소소게 최도 리지트서 라나 말라나 페네 메케자 되는 야보죠 말에. 대 가로서 다보자 거 봐. 대이다 대 Sera Jey 쳔모레 보기로 로조 돼야래. 아니 저로서 강한 내 손조서야 돼. Sera Jey 쳔모레. 뭐뭐 마시나 근다타바 치세 체가들 년도 서구시나 까와서 뭐래. 너네 하고 드네 진노용 지구 돌이 근데 제세 제토나도 야쇼를 때마다 제세 세가제 까마 정하제 용내 년도 용내 드니서 되게는 오늘 돈에 뒤세 되는 거 가서 뭐라 봐. 안테 넘어서 되네 니 주도데 까리 쳔모래자 저로솔. 오늘 돈에 드니제 요나 소소가 제보시나 잔예시 요래 두보시나 잔루체 요 소소시 요래. 가르쳐나 마찬가 취대를 다시 요 말에 취면은 잔 야보시나 자쇼 요 소소 요 말에 두보시나 게 잔루체 요 성거 말어 봐. 나로서 오늘 돈에 레와 자사도 취래 누가 어떤 넘바 다바체 소소 그 니네를 야보셔야 돼 Sera Jey 쳔모레 세타 되셔야지 그게 지금 말해라 콘솔라 봐.
So this is for the Tibetans, so we don't need to have the translation.
내가 콘솔 그지 노사 개체 가르쳐요나 소고나 노사 말에 나도 강가를 그야 되는 것 같아. 오늘 돈에 통보쳐야 돼 Sera Jey 쳔모레 다 제이다 아니 다 뒤에 그 다달에 오 저네 매매 잡이 제노 쳐바체 이수거든 내가 라바는 나니 시고 전에 라서 저도 제노를 라만한테 단단데 레오레 누가 내래 그수 뒤에 예때 틀레도 집에 제노 누가 대이다 대 나로서 강에 잡어치 종소 대사be 게사와 대래 올해 다테 이제 되네 도제도 넘바 세진도 수년배 거네 되네 네 지딘제 바간제 거레스.
So now we have received this special initiation of the medicine Buddha. It is a special, and I never received it until last year. So it's really special because this one has the empowerment of the body, speech, mind, the quality, and the activity. So this is a special, and so now with the thought thinking that I will keep all the vows and commitments. Please repeat this verse after Rinpoche with your hands folded together.
소유 제다 가자바
소유 제다 가자바
대다 탐제 다게지
대다 탐제 다게게
소유 제다 가자바
소유 제다 가자바
대다 탐제 다게지
대다 탐제 다게게
소유 제다 가자바
소유 제다 가자바
대다 탐제 다게지
대다 탐제 다게게
어야 다테 이제 되게 용인 주서 송화 야보 중사데 대이다 대사베 게사와데 솔라테네 테네 산제제 템바 예대제 건데 예레데 네바도 텐제제 셰보 tomba 아니 공사라면노레 장게자 용모 통제 체제제바 쳔보 초게 위 아니 리사마체베 텐제 셰보 tomba노 카세데 진제저 제바 로바 아니 단다데 쇼제 겐데제다노 투여터 터송에 건데 라마라바선제 녀레 류데네 선제 체녀노 먼저제 야제 소제다 건데 건데 페지 제바 자 정보 대다가 현달라데네 용배 요쪽건데 내미 주제소 닝에랑도 제제 녀와 롱사천데 로노 친조 대시제 빨라 대다다 롱셰 조배 아니 멜로 농농 농사이 뭐
now, so the part for the dedication, so whatever virtuous action or merit that we have accumulated by doing this initiation, please dedicate for this, for all the holy beings, and especially for the Dalai Lama and all the great teachers of the different tradition, and to have long life, and for all their holy activities, to be successful, and for the teachings of the Buddha, and to remain, and spread and remain for a long time, and for all those the sanghas and all the students who are studying the Dharma, be successful in all their studies of the Dharma, like the 3 trainings and so forth, and through all these merits, may there be no war, famine, the diseases and so forth in the world.
So that
completes the initiation now. So please offer a mandala for the Thanksgiving.
Coming to offering Rinpoche Khada and take the blessing, then we will also recite the chantings. Also, I think we can answer better now. We're not complete. Tomorrow night also 6 to 8, right? Yeah, 7 to 9. I think 6 to 8, how you practice daily life. Whatever you study, how you practice Rinpoche teaching. Yeah, after all, she will do the not announcement.
Jano nye je jo rangi je je dobe lonje ne shudo zeye dombe dage doye ye je mamba za je ne jaye demba ye re za je demba re je joge ma jamba chacho nyamba jave jonde ye je me ye ra je wa pe de za wa je ma Sije jaye me je le do jo long je rembe tade no je yula bande jaye zemba rindo je ozo de be do je nga je je manda mama Sera Jey jaye ngama ye nanda londo de wa ma je chola je de la zemba de Tode no je dada doje traje jaze jogo jaje je rajo jaye zozo male maganda jayo jaye nyando seje gele kunje ye no ngeje doje la me zona tajo doje dobe zonde na gaje gembo denze jazo koze maje gajara de Jendelo nyendo wa jenjel che ngonzo jeno nyanje me da de je me tome de no de me jongo no shaye yo no la do no jel taja do je do be zonde na ga jeng tenze janzo koze ma je ga jara de je jendelo nyendo wa jenjel Prodo ye de lo zo de le je no wan do go jan zo don ze penze do je ngo la ye la ra jo de to je la do jan do je do be zon de na ga je ngembo den ze jan zo ko ze ma je ga ja ra de je de lo je do ma je je de so la gong ge nge do je chu do ja wa no je no wa Same maye kuzo geye ma te zo dombe je je zona Daja du chu tabi zonde na gaji gimbo di min janzo kuzi maji kaja rade yede lanjin dama shinje lo kashi shido niye dudrut de do nyanja rabi zinjo nenjo lonzo zhila zhongzi be nizi bawa kande zonal Daja du chu tabi zonde na gaji gimbo di zi janzo kuzi maji kaja rade yede lanjin dama shinje lo doji chungi kada janja mandara me de do ni good de do tin zo jo ye de za je ye je je de zo nyang zo da jo du je do me zo de na ga je ge mo din de nyang zo ko je ma je ga ja ra de je je de lo je de ma je je de da lo me sha je jo na la ju do ni ne ge be zo da ma je ni me zo nga ra na da zo go ju do ye ge je Lo zo din zi jiang zo jo zo zi ma jie ma jie ma na yo jie yo do do jie ni mian pa pa jiang zo yu mian da de jo ran jo jia wa gu jie zi mian ni do cha pa zi yue la jie cha li gang ge no bo ni bo ye ba ji ji lan jie de jie de de zo de ke zang no ge li jie nga zu xian de dan do jie de de jo Kundo randa yi ge zi zi ji zi mo je je cha na bi mi shi lo de zi da zo ni ge zu zi na me je ka je zhi bi ji bi ran ye ku zu xian ju jiang zu da zi xi lo do den di lo wa mi bi de ma do da ge la zu da bi de do mi bi de ge de la nian de do zo jo je nyong ge jia yue de zo jo bi yue ku zi do mo yao ge ge yue le me don de da zo de jing ge do jia de do zo chong xin nyong ge jia yue de dong jo bi yue ku zi do mo chu zi ge yue le me don de da zo de jing ge do jia de jo do zo jo xin nyong ge jia yue zo jo bi yue ku zi do mo chu zi ge yue le me don de da zo de jing ge do jia de jo ce me yin de jiang zi me nga ji nyong juan do bu ji da guan di zu de ji zi do la ma ji da ge de me nga da guan si chi do zi yong do de bi de zo li yong bi me de me de den zi ge do zhe bi ji ma na chi ji na ji jia wa be wa ma zi ling ye zha bi yong ne pa mi de ge na ye nyong dan zi ga ne zi ma ge ji ma xi ne de ga jiang zi bi bi che wa gang jiu qi de jin duan na jiu la li bi ge zi me ni ge jiong bi cha do chen me ji nian de ji bi du ji de mo nian mo de ji ni bi lang ji rang ji ni bo ji bi ni ji mo zi qi bi zu no la don yang de xiao zin de ye be lai ri ni ni de na bi de bi de yong zo bi jiu rong wan za me lan zhi qi si sun zhi ga de ji bi gan zo nian wa nian de de do din zi qia zi rang ren ji bi li zu lu jie yong de ga wa jia zhan zhi bi ji bo na zhen zi ge de tu ji jiang wan do na re zi wa si ji jia yue jian a ga jie yong zo jia ji jia wa zo no do ji nie za me den de do chu zi du ji de do den zi le de lu me den de da jia de bi me lo ge me nian do chou yo mo mo ye jian da jian ma da gun do zo mo de yo de jie de da gun jie jie za da lo ye wa da da dong jie ran dong de zu xie bi jia wa dong jie ngo wa guo la chu da nga ma da ge ge yue za wa de ge Dharma Geshe Rado Ngava Joye Chonju Zenjo Rinpoche Maje Bano Geshe Sheva Nyamba Mem Kuni Bunda Beva Jo Bama Zenje Donje Dendo Deje Je Mendo Tonje Dondo Donwa Chonju Zeba Gana Zoje Teta Kunje Melon Doje Che Koro Ravi Goye Chingo Zo Pedo Dewa Mali Juve Shiri Zewa Denje Janzo Chabi Zide Bando Denje Je Melo Lombe Jaye Demal Kuye Nacho Zuche Zumet Sojo Nimbe Juba Male Chozo Dembe Zene Jeje Je Melo Lombe Jaye Demal Kuye Nacho Zuche Zumet Sojo Nimbe Dazan Ba Chozo Dembe Zene Jeje Je Melo Lombe Jaye Demal Kuye Nacho Zuche Zumet Sojo Nimbe Juba Male Dembe Zene Jeje Je Peden June Demba Dashi Je Tenzo Shiva Tongche Kongozo Leje Kula Deje Je Sanje Demba Dada Jeje Je Yombi Janko Shido Kojon Be Neme Trutse Lazo Manjo Dono Chinjo Dege Zoat Pazo Benjo Lezo Jejero Je Sera